Yo soy Pocho. But when I say the word Pocho, not confuse it with the old term. The term that means rotten, spoiled fruit. The term that focuses on language, the lack of Spanish. Pocho has also been related to traitor in its worst sense. A traitor to language, a traitor to history, and a traitor to culture. It is often used by a Mexicano who is referencing somebody born in America from Mexicano parents. So if you're being called a Pocho, you're not being given a compliment. So then the question is, why would I call myself a Pocho? I call myself a Pocho because I want to redefine the term. I want to redefine the term the way Chicano was redefined during the Civil Rights Movement. Chicano wasn't always considered a positive term. It could have been considered a troublemaker, somebody who was not able to adjust to American lifestyle. That was a Chicano, even though we do not consider that term the same now. I want to redefine Pocho. I want it to be more than just language. I want to redefine Pocho in the sense of not only what is lost, but also what is gained. I want to redefine Pocho because when people speak about it, they do so omitting the history. And this history began during the Mexican Revolution. So we're talking about 1910, 1920. During that time period, those 10 years, 890,000 legal Mexican immigrants came over to the United States. They came and they had children. The children are the ones who are considered Pochos. And if we look at why they came or where they were living, we can see three things. We can see that they were living in an area that was troubled, the border area. We know that they were sons of immigrants. So the parents were immigrants, they moved here, and we also know that they struggled to live in this American lifestyle. In the 1920s, we're not talking about the Great Gatsby 1920s that we see right now. We're talking about the poor 1920s. The immigrants that came here were not the ones that had money. They struggled to survive in the United States, and they struggled to give their kids a better lifestyle. And if we look at what is going on now in these borders, we'll see three things. We are living in a border area that is filled with turmoil, from the drug cartels. We live in an area where many parents are immigrants, some of them with papers, others without. And we live in an area and in a nation where we are still struggling to be considered a whole, an entire part of a nation. And if you look at the laws that are being passed, you'll know that's true. One word, Arizona. So then, once we know the history, we can think about, why are we doing this? Why do I want to redefine Pocho? Because I want it to be not about what is lost. I want it to be about what is gained. What is gained from living here in the United States. Not just simply language. But one of those things that is gained is language. The language, which is, sometimes imperfect. I must admit, I am not a perfect Spanish speaker. I struggle at times sometimes, but I know Tex-Mex, I know Spanglish, I know English. So in a sense, when we think about the languages that are known, we have to think about how we use them. And when I use them, when I speak Spanish with my mom, when I talk Tex-Mex to my friends, and when I try to have an elevated form of English, like with you all here, it serves my purpose. It is not about the lack of language that defines me. It is about the language that I have. And when we think about religion, Virgin Mary, Catholicism, saints, it has always been a large part of our life. I can remember going to Mass, confession, crossing my fingers in the name of Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But sometimes, what if you don't believe? What if you only attend Mass in case of emergency weddings, quinceañeras, and baptisms? That is a moment when you ask yourself, if I make a promesa, can it be completed? If I go talk to my mom, and as I'm leaving her house, I'll tell her, I'll see you next week, Mom. And she says, si Dios quiere, will I still see my mom next week? The answer is